Hey G.I. Joe fans, Joe Motion Videos 82 here. It is time for another G.I. Joe toy review. First off, I want to wish all the fathers out there and stepfathers a belated happy Father's Day. I hope that you did enjoy it and get a lot of G.I. Joes, or at least some hugs from your kids. That's the least they could do for us, right? I'm a dad myself, father to a 16-year-old daughter. She is the apple of my eye, and also, how can I put it, like her dad, she's an introvert, so she doesn't like to speak much. Emails I get from her, she doesn't like to talk on the phone, at least to me, maybe to her friends. So yeah, she lives with her mom, unfortunately divorced. But she did send me an email and wish me a happy Father's Day, and that she'll see me on my birthday, which is coming up in a few months. So anyway, as we all know, in the 1990s, things got weird with G.I. Joe as far as coloring and retooling. Neon was in. They brought neon back from the previous decade, and you know, I really have no problem with neon. As you see, I like bright colors. I purposely wore a bright colored shirt for this review. I mean, they gave us neon monsters. Gave us a neon septic tank. Same color as the monster. Same color yellow. They gave us neon green spaceships and weapons. I mean, 90s gave us neon, brought it back, and guess what? Neon has come back again in the 21st century. So the figure we're going to be looking at today is Zartan for version 2, also known amongst collectors as the Ninja Force Zartan. The Ninja Force line in itself can I say it was interesting. I'm not saying I didn't like it. There are a few figures that I do have that I really do like in Ninja Force, and I'll review them later. They took already awesome articulation, just completely threw that down the toilet, and hindered that articulation to give us gimmicks. Kick action and punch action and slicing and dicing action, and it just looks stupid for the most part. So, you know, please don't get me wrong, I'm not completely hating on the Ninja Force. Like I said, I like parts of it. I bought the figures because they were G.I. Joe, and also I didn't have those figures, which brings me to my next point. It's what I like about sub-teams. When they bring back old figures and retool, recolor, that gave kids like me a chance to get that figure from their original release. Like, I didn't have Duke and Gung Ho, you know, all those cool guys that they reintroduced into Tiger Force. That's when I got them. I got Flint, Duke, and Gung Ho. Those were my first 3 original Tiger Force figures. I didn't have them from the original release. And then Slaughter's Marauders, I was able to get Footloose and Lowlight, because I didn't have those two. You know, so it gives kids a second chance to get that one figure that they liked, even though it wasn't from the original. So, in 1993, Ninja Force came out. They were having to compete with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They were having to compete with Alien versus Predator, with the Terminator, all these cool toy lines that were coming out, and Hasbro was Johnny come lately. So they introduced space figures and space aliens, as the way I see it, to compete with Alien versus Predator. They introduced Ninja Force to compete with Ninja Turtles, because ninjas and aliens were hot for the 90s kids. And G.I. Joe, by that time, the toy line was starting to flounder. So they released Ninja Force. So we're looking at Ninja Force Zartan, version 2. He was released as a part of the 12th series and was included in the Ninja Force subset, which was numbered 1 through 7. Why they numbered it is a mystery to me. Zartan was number 2. Zartan came with some pretty interesting accessories, which I will show you. They were all part of those dreaded stamped out weapons on the weapons trees. Just really interesting. You know, the parts trees were lazy, but they had to mass produce this stuff quickly, get it out so I could, and as cheaply as possible, so everything pretty much was a reuse of another person's weapons. Some of it was original, which I'll point out, maybe not, but I'm hoping guys that they came out with an original weapon. But I sincerely doubt it. Yeah, they're quite interesting. So when the Ninja Force figures hit the shelf, they originally retailed for $4.99. The price kind of went up, you know, from your $2.99 and then later $3 and $3.99. So, you know, just it's inflation. And you know, I'm really groping to find something to say about this guy. Yeah, he's interesting. Version 2 was made completely of all original body parts. None were borrowed from another figure. Like all the Ninja Force figures, Zartan's body was designed with a quote-unquote real ninja move. Zartan's upper body could be twisted back, and when released, he would spring into a punch motion. If you remember Masters of the Universe, every one of those figures had that punch motion. You just twist their waist and they'd spring and do a little power punch, so to speak. But Zartan, needless to say, is a very popular figure. He was released in multiple versions, all the way up until 2010 when version 19 came out. Now, none of these other versions that I know of had that color change gimmick, which I really wish they would have kept that. That was the coolest thing I had ever seen as a kid. I remember the Zartan version 1, there was a kid that brought his to school, and the first time I said, whoa, an action figure turns blue, that is so cool. And he was the star of the playground for a few days. Every time he brought that out, hey, there's Jimmy Bedwell. Ah, we all ran after him, you know, go see his Zartan. And he had a lot of cool G.I. Joes that he'd bring to school with him. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at this action figure. Alright, so here he is, Zartan version 2. This is the Zartan that most of us grew up with and loved. He's just great. I mean, the color changing Zartan. Hi, I'm Zartan. You look like Zartan too. I'm not Zartan. I'm Bob. But you're wearing Zartan's clothes. Bob left them laying somewhere. Yeah, and I didn't have any, so I liked his and I took them. You're not Bob. That should give a little more light onto the subject. So let's go ahead and take a look at Zartan's accessories. Go ahead and pull that knife out. He came with a bow, which was originally released with Storm Shadow version 2. Came with the card contents called a machete. Very familiar looking machete. This was released with Spearhead and Max. Apologize that doesn't come up clear. Came with a sword, which was released with Snake Eyes version 3. A knife, which was released very commonly back in the 90s with just about every figure. He actually came with 2 of these, and I'll set that aside and show you what they did. Also came with a sickle, which has a hole in the bottom of it. I'm sure it would attach to a chain, be made to swing. And of course the figure stand. That was the best thing the 90s brought us, were figure stands. Now Zartan, on his leg here, he had these little slots. I'm not too worried about not having the second knife because it's a duplicate, but they pretty cool. It slides right into that slot there, but it hinders the leg movement and he could stab himself in the leg. So not very smart planning on their part. The big change with Zartan here is this lovely orange mohawk. He kept his original face paint and made it orange. His eyes are white, of course, to stay with his original theme. He has a leather biker's jacket with a chain around his shoulder, which I'm assuming is made to hold on to the sickle. He has these arm guards. It's all just, when I read the file card, it'll describe these. An arm guard. He has shin guards as well. These are all a part of his ninja fighting uniform. He's wearing black boots and these bright neon green pants. I'm going to start calling that 90s green, and a purple belt. His articulation is still somewhat the same. You know, his head moves up and down, so I won't go into that. But the big change in his articulation was he twists at the waist. I mean, that's unhuman. You could twist him 360 degrees, let him go into a punch. See how fast he was? He is a ninja. You couldn't even see him turn, could you? Turn him all the way around. Bam! Yeah, that was his ninja punch. Okay, let's get into the file card. Alright, upper left hand corner, it shows his picture. Zartan with a very mean look on his face. He looks like he's screaming. It says codename Zartan, file name unknown, primary military specialty, master of disguise, birthplace unknown. Reads in quotations from Zartan, my personality changes as often as my looks, so they are both bad. So that would explain why he gave himself this weird punker neon look. He changes his looks on a whim. The man doesn't need to see a barber or cosmetologist. He just changes his looks whenever he feels like it. So why in the cartoon did he wear rubber masks if he could change his looks? Zartan could alter his skin color at will to blend in with his environment. He is a master of makeup and disguises, and a ventriloquist, which did show up in the Sunbow cartoon. He did mimic people's voices a lot. He is a linguist. He speaks over 20 languages and dialects, so that makes this man a genius. He's an acrobatic contortionist and a practitioner of numerous mystical arts. Not only is he a genius, but he's incredibly limber. Little is known about his background, but captured Cobra documents reveals reports listing him to be as lethal as a two-headed rattler snake disguised as a garter snake. He changes his appearance and personality so often that even he can't keep track of them. Sorry, dyslexia kicked in there. Okay, so if you can see here, everything is numbered. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So number 1 is a Carasso Fundu assault chain. That's the chain that's right up over his shoulder. Number 2 are sword blocking forearm guards. Batman actually had those. He had little talons on his. Number 3 is flexible plate shin guards. Number 4 are dual leg sheaths to hold knives, which, I'm sorry about that, right here on his legs. You can see those. Rawhide leather jacket. That's a cool jacket. I wouldn't mind having that. A sleeveless jacket at that. A shuriken shaved mohawk. If you don't know what a shuriken is, it's commonly known as a throwing star. A highlighted tension ninja Yumi bow. As we all know in the comic that he killed the Hard Master with a bow, causing a little rift, and that made Storm Shadow join Cobra so he could hunt down and kill Zartan for killing his master. And number 8 is a Cobra issued lightweight climbing boots. Alright, he's a ninja, and ninjas need to be stealthy, so yeah, you know, lightweight climbing boots to help him scale trees and whatnot. Pretty cool. You know, they oversaturated the weapons, I really feel. But the file card didn't mention his sword at all, which is kind of a shame. It's a neat sword. It just looks like your standard sword, not really a katana. Katana would be a little more curved, and it wouldn't have the straight handguard. It would have a round tsuba, which is the name of the handguard, on it, and it wouldn't have the ball at the bottom. So this is just a standard fighting sword, I guess. And they didn't mention his handy dandy nifty neat top of the line state of the art everybody must have figure stands. I mean, that is a ninja skateboard. I mean, he could just stealthily skate into battle on this. Come on, they gave Swamp Rat a swamp board, so why not? Oh, going to kick ass someday. Yeah, see? It works, it's functional. I mean, the Mohawk, I don't like it that much. This is the first version of Zartan that I bought. I got him at Montgomery Ward. I paid $1.50 for him. He was on sale, and a big sale bin. And I didn't have Zartan, so I bought him, hence my love for subsets. You could get the figures you never had. The downfall I have The Mohawk isn't very ninja-like, obviously, but it is Dreadnought. It just screams Dreadnought. It gives him a more diabolical look, especially on the file cards, but with those white eyes. Yeah, very diabolical. The leather jacket is reminiscent back to his days of being a Dreadnought. He's a Dreadnought ninja. Yeah, he's an interesting figure to say the least. I'm glad I have him in the collection. When I purchased him, I was already out of high school. So what I did is, I just, like everything else I bought back then, I opened him up, put all of his weapons in a container, threw them in a box, and let my kid brother Ben play with them. But all in all, he's well sculpted, in very good condition, because he wasn't played with all that much. Ben was into Ninja Turtles again at the time. You know, the ninja waist twist thing, that was obviously stolen from Masters of the Universe. You know, it looks like a cool figure. You know, I appreciate him a lot more now as an adult collector than I did back in my early adult years, my young adult years. I've held on to him all these years, so I've really appreciated him a lot more because of that, as I literally grew up with him. So anyway, that is Zartan version 2. I still prefer my beloved version 1. Even the modern Zartan, or Bob, he looks pretty cool too. I mean, they do a great job with the modern figures. They give them the articulation that I wish that they had when they were, that the older ones had, that the vintage figures had. But everything with its own time. Alright, so if you are looking for Ninja Force Zartan out on the aftermarket, he is very common and he is pretty inexpensive. Zartan by himself with a bow, about $5.99, bow and figure stand. If you're looking for a carded Zartan, it runs you about $27 on up from there. If you're looking for Zartan with his complete figure tree still intact, it's about $15.99 on up. His file card around $1.50, $1.75, depending on who you buy it from. You know, the Ninja Force subset, what can I say? I mean, they had some really cool figures. They brought out Snake Eyes and Scarlet, and Scarlet, that was version 2 of Scarlet. We didn't see another Scarlet for 10 years after the first one was, well, 11 years. She was released in 82 and then again in 83 at the Swivel Arm Battle Grip. So 11 years before we saw another version of Scarlet, which was a shame. She is a great character, but I'll get more into that when I review the Ninja Force Scarlet. These figures, it's a reflection of the time. These guys are a time capsule in a way that shows the trending in toys. If you look at G.I. Joe from when it first started in the 60s, then the 70s, and right into the 80s, not only did they scale down from the 12-inch models. If you like the 12-inch G.I. Joes, check out Skull's reviews. He does a great job. He has a beautiful collection of 12-inch Joes. I will put his name down here on the screen for you guys. He does a wonderful job with his 12-inch figures, and he doesn't only review G.I. Joe, he does a lot of different things as well. But as we all know, that Hasbro coined the phrase action figure. Who a boy would not buy a doll, but we would buy an action figure. It just shows how being a spin doctor and changing the words around can sell an item. There it is, boys and girls, a G.I. Joe doll for all you boys. Sissy? No. G.I. Joe action figure. And that stuck. I mean, in the 70s they had Star Wars action figures. Then the 80s they had everything that was small and made for boys was henceforth an action figure. The Fisher-Price action people, which I loved as a kid. But I'm getting off on a tangent. So we're talking about Ninja Force. It's a part of history, and that's what I really like about it. It gives a nice timeline of G.I. Joe. If you just set up your entire collection in a timeline, it would make a beautiful display. And that's what I'm working on right now, is trying to get figures from every year. It's going to be a huge endeavor. That's why I've turned to Patreon. So go ahead and check out my Patreon page at Joe Motion Videos 82 and help contribute to the channel. Those funds will be circled right back into the channel. None of it will ever touch my pocket. It will go to buy action figures, buy better equipment, and to buy prizes for you guys, because I will be doing some giveaways. So don't forget that when I reach 100 subscribers, I'll be doing another giveaway, and July 1st is my 1-year anniversary. So I'll be doing another giveaway then. As you guys know, it will be a complete HAL with Grand Slam. Okay, I love that toy. It is a great battle platform slash vehicle slash action figure. It is a great toy. It's iconic of the 80s, and Grand Slam is a very popular and pretty challenging figure to get a hold of. So I'm giving that special one away for my anniversary, because each and every one of you guys who watch my channel and who subscribe to my channel are well worth it. I really appreciate you guys. I have the best bunch of subscribers out there. My brother even subscribed. How about that? So thank you, George. Yeah, big supporter of my channel as well. And I might not even be giving away G.I. Joe toys. If you don't want one, I'll be giving away gift cards. But I need those donations to come into my Patreon account so that I could purchase those things for you guys. I can't do it without you. As you know, toy collecting can be rather expensive. It's a labor of love, let's put it that way. And I do love my collection. I cherish it. I take very good care of it. And I'm sure my co-workers are tired of hearing me talk about my toy collection, save for my boss. He's a G.I. Joe freak too, so he and I, we just get off on a tangent about all of our adventures. He even watches the cartoon, which surprised me. He said he goes home every day, he has it recorded, and sits down and watches it with his little boys, and he's introducing this into his children's lives. And I've given a few of my duplicate pieces so he could share those with his kids as well, and let them know how cool it was to have toys and not just video games. So Rico, thank you for sharing that with your sons and keeping the legacy of G.I. Joe alive. And thank you to all you out there who do that, share those with your children. My daughter even played with my G.I. Joes. She liked my Star Wars more, so I gave those to her on her 16th birthday. But she played with my G.I. Joe action figures. My young nephew Zachary plays with my G.I. Joes when he comes over. And my other two, my niece Benjamin and my niece Kiera, my nephew, sorry Benny, my nephew Benjamin and my niece Kiera come over, and they like to see my G.I. Joes, and they like playing with them. and they enjoy it. So us as parents, we get to, or even grandparents, I'm sure there are a few of us collectors out there who are grandparents, we could introduce those to our grandchildren, and I plan to do that when I start having grandchildren. These wonderful antique toys that we took so good care of, that we could share that joy for generations to come. And that is the magic of toys. They get to have a second life, not only through us, but through our kids and our grandkids, and hopefully our great-grandchildren. And that is what I hope to do, to have this collection around to show my great-grandchildren, and hopefully have a little hair left. And back when your great-granddaddy had hair and I was young, I used to play with these toys. Get rid of my teeth falling. Hopefully not. Anyway, guys, thank you so very much. Thank you to my new subscribers. And thank you to all of you who have joined me on Twitter, who have signed up with my accounts on Twitter and follow me. Thank you guys so very much. You are all awesome. I really appreciate and love each and every one of you guys. So please keep those subscriptions coming. Please keep watching this channel. If you like this video about Zartan, this weirdo 1990s Ninja Force Zartan, give me a thumbs up. You know, share this video, retweet it. I'll post it up on Twitter. But next week, I'm going to be taking some time off. I'm not going, unfortunately, can't go to JoeCon this year. Sad, the last year of JoeCon. But I need to take a week off. I might put up a video or two, just a quick look or something. I've been doing this for almost a year nonstop. Even in the hospital when I should have been resting, I was shooting you guys out videos. So I just need to take next Tuesday off, just to regroup and get a new lineup set up. But those lineups aren't written in stone. They're very fluid. If you have a suggestion for an action figure that you would like to see, shoot me a comment, shoot me an email. Just let me know, hey Joe, I want to see, could you do review I already reviewed Shipwreck, but could you review Voltar or Tripwire or Duke version 2? I've been wanting to redo version 2 of Duke, the Tiger Force Duke, because that review didn't turn out very well and he deserves a better review. Or even review a vehicle, whatever you want. If I have it, if I have it, I'll review it. So anyway, guys, this has been Joe Motion Videos 82 signing off. You guys have a great day, and thank you once again. Every one of you have a special place here in my heart. You are excellent, wonderful, fantastic friends. So we'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Joe Motion Videos 82 signing off. Bye-bye.